in the upper right in the red. He is
StarCraft Life, 이승현.
Very young, very talented.
in the bottom left. We have our Protoss player playing very well. He is
SK텔레콤 T1 paralyze, 정경두.
This music reminds me of a game called Lugaru.
Oh, I've heard of that game.
It's a game where you play as a rabbit and you like have to avenge your family. And like it's like a really cool game. The story's really good. I like don't want to spoil anything, but it's like a third-person fighter where you're like a rabbit and you fight against wolves and other rabbits, and you pick up weapons and stuff. So it's a sick game. Offensive hatch attempt here by Life is blocked.
Sup, son?
It's a really hard game too, by the way. Oh wow, he's really trying to get it.
Really wants
he's
to
not
get
going to get it.
Oh!
It's not happening.
Get out my base.
He like makes it next to Nexus. I'm like, no, that's not the function. Well, his base is pretty late as a result.
This is not good for Life, guys.
He may even go double hatch before pool, but I don't know. That's pretty risky. Okay, he's going to take the gold maybe? No, nah, he's just going to go double hatch before pool, but that's still a weird ideally stuck with here.
Ideally want to have it confident he was going to get the hatch up. I mean, this is something that really messes up your tempo.
Yeah, look at the tempo. Like each time he has 100 extra minerals left over, that's wasted time. That's a lot of wasted time.
Yeah, it really is.
So that was a cool idea, but definitely does not work out for him. And we'll see how Paralyze decides to respond as he now scouts this. Probably not going to do anything super aggressive. We haven't seen him really do any like San-style 4 gates or anything like that.
From here, really it's going to be about how well Life is going to be able to play off balance. And again, if you guys are just now joining us, Life's had some very poor games today. Compared to what we're used to seeing from Life,
yeah,
I'm concerned for him.
Me too.
Personally, I'm rooting for him. I think he's a great player. But in a case like this, I mean, God, he's had some bad games today.
He really has.
All PVZs, by the way, today.
Yeah, 100%.
100% PVZs.
Now this probe over here decides to go home. I thought he might lurk around and do some shenanigans with that, but he's going to rush out his Stargate instead. This seems to be more Paralyze's style. He's not like parting, or maybe even like classic, just more likely to be aggressive with gateways.
Yeah, he likes his gateway timing and his gateway aggression, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, even Zest likes that a little bit more. Paralyze is just kind of like...
It seems like that's becoming a little bit more popular.
Yeah, people are starting to figure out that if you can get away with the pylon, it gives you a lot of wins. I mean, because you sometimes just straight up win off of it. It's hard to recover. It's risky, though, in the same way like a 2 barracks proxy is risky.
Well, I mean, yeah, a lot of times these strats that are high risk yield high reward, but
yeah,
again, they are high risk, which means that you might just lose, and one misclick early on, and that's it.
Yeah.
So he's going to get an Oracle out here. Most of today has been Phoenix builds. I believe we had Rain do 1 Oracle build earlier on. And this may be a good move here. The hatcheries were late. The overall production had been slowed down a little bit here for Life. Life now getting that evolution chamber here. And the spore crawlers, which are required whenever you see a spire coming up like this in order to keep your drone safe.
So he's going to take a third with this. Probe's already going over there. I'm going to go ahead and drop the Nexus, but he will actually be denied. He's going to have to bring over his Sentry buddy in a second. Or the Mothership Core,
actually.
And guess that probe was closer to the Mothership Core.
There's the Ling attack now being upgraded. Melee attack. Here comes the Oracle now. 2 kills.
Buckle your shoe tastes.
And the third Nexus is coming up here, and this is again a very similar game. 22 Lings now. He wants to hit hard. He wants to hit the Protoss before the Protoss can get everything set up and running. We don't normally see Protoss lose in a situation like this. You got to think of the previous game that we saw where he actually did this before Stargate. This is a much more standard way to do it.
Yeah, he's got
the
like
Oracle
2
here,
cannons
they
here.
kill Lings so quickly.
Yeah, 2 cannons are up already. This is walled tightly. I don't know, Life not really going to get anything done here. And this really hurts him worker-wise. This is so much larva spent. These two cannons going to buy a lot of time. The Nexus is not complete yet, though, so that hurts because without that, he can't use the overcharge.
The Oracle will clean up a lot of these lings here.
Yeah, so
but
much
this
damage.
might just be too many lings. They're going to take out the cannon for sure. But is there enough to take out the Nexus?
I don't think so.
18 more lings are on the way, by the way.
Yeah, and he needs to re-wall this. He's like starting another cannon here, but that's not going to finish. He doesn't have a probe over here. He's going to have the Nexus cannon itself to help out. The probe gets blocked. That's really nice of him. Like, we knew exactly that. That's something that's going to be a big problem for him if the cannons actually get up. So if he can just deny the probe from even starting that, that's huge. But yeah, this doesn't work. And now he's down 17 harvesters. And he's continuing to make lings. So maybe he can eventually make this work. But this is actually crazy, dude. This is almost like life on tilt or something. He's like, I'm just going to kill him and I'm not stopping. I'm getting out of this group. Lings are bust, man. 2 cannons here. He's got +1 for his lings, mind you, so they do a lot more damage. This actually could be a very important moment here.
He's going to get the Nexus, it looks like.
It looks like it. That's absolutely huge. He absolutely needed to do that. Without this, the deficit in workers would be too much, but honestly, still, he's not in the most comfortable place with very few drones to speak of.
Well,
it's 52 to 39. It's okay. If he can cancel this again, maybe it's going to be all okay for him. And I think he definitely
can cancel for sure.
That's great for him.
All right, I think again the Nexus comes here again. He's going to try to hit it again.
Nah, not this time. Well, I mean, he's going to try, but he can't. He can't get it this time. Too many units there. Third Void Ray is now out. Well, Life needs to just be super greedy and drone up 100% now behind this. Now he's got this aggressive Ling Force to keep Paralyze on the defensive.
Well, the question is, you know, did Life do enough damage to where his opponent is behind? And right now, I'm thinking maybe not. I mean, the worker count is low enough for the Zerg. He's got a lot of Lings out here, but Protoss is going into triple Stargate right now, which means Protoss is going to be turtling for a while.
Yeah.
You know, one problem is that even though there's a short distance between the second and the third, if you're going to go around it to the back door of the third, it's a pretty long distance, so Protoss can be ready to defend it. They'll notice by your absence that you probably are not over there, you know?
Yeah. Well, Lair Tech is super late here, going into a Spire now. And it looks like he's going to drop a 4th base here. Dude, he's got a lot of gas, so he's just really banking on this Mula switch, but Paralyze is already ready with triple Stargate to react to this. All he needs is a scout on this, and he's going to be like gold. Here comes the Oracle. He's going to not only spout this base, but may even be able to go see the Spire. And then if he just turns on Phoenix production, this is going to be shut down hard.
Yeah, he might want to try to get a glimpse into what the Zerg's doing.
Is he going to just try to snipe this? He's going to draw forces over here and maybe snipe a tech in the main base?
I think that's what he's doing, yeah.
Going for the spawning pool here, charging up, and he's going to get that Mothership over here to help recall and even do some extra damage.
Look at that. Takes out that spawning pool.
Maybe.
And from here he goes right for the Spore Crawler.
Then he can actually just like start killing drones. Like, if he kills these queens. Uh-oh.
Oh man, this is really bad for Life here, guys.
He's just losing so much.
Does he have enough transfuses?
There's a transfuse. Okay, he's just like, all right, that's enough. Recalling. I don't think he saw the Spire though, because he's making 3 more Void Rays. And 17 mutas. That could actually be a winning move here, because there's not any Phoenixes on the map. There's also very few Stalkers.
The fact that Zerg is taking a 5th base here, when you're doing a Stargate build like what we see Paralyze doing, it's pretty hard to get out of your base and actually take out the other expansions once mutas are present on the map.
Yeah. Yeah, he had no idea about the Spire. He still hasn't seen it. Now he knows.
Okay, now he knows.
He needs to get cannons up. He needs Phoenixes so bad he might even want to cancel that 3rd Void Ray. It's like 10 seconds off finishing. That's how fast he needs those. And here we go. Starting them now, chrono boosting. Oracle here does go down, and he's got 3 cannons going up, 4 cannons going up. That Colossus may just get targeted. Yep. That's expensive.
Nice hit there on the Colossus.
Starting to fight Void Rays too, because there's not a lot of Stalker support, but with all the Nexus Cannon and everything else, he definitely needs to move back here.
Paralyzed managed to chase him back. Life returning home to lick his wounds.
Life is down in supply here. He spent all of his resources, all of his gas on these Mulas, and starts 15 drones now to bolster his economy. But now that Mulas have been spotted, all that Paralyze really needs to do is to just hold strong here.
By the way, a lot of this has to do with that +1 Ling attack that we saw.
Oh, so many Phoenixes popping out now. He doesn't have any Corruptor support. He's starting it.
He's got to be careful. There you go. I was going to say, Zerg can actually whip around, try to hit those Phoenixes when they're in hot pursuit. The Corruptors are coming out. Zerg armor nearly done. And this is the Sky Protoss style.
Yeah. 8 Corruptors coming out here to help bolster this 9. He just keeps making those because he knows to protect his Mulus, he's absolutely going to have those. They're not also going to be too worthless later on because they're going to be useful against Colossi and even Void Rays in smaller numbers.
Also, don't forget about the game we had with Shine. I mean, that was a really interesting base trade scenario. With you get mutas like this is something you can definitely do as a base trade. It's definitely a possibility.
I feel like that sort of situation is less likely here, but it's still a possibility, depending on how these two clash in the middle of the map. Fleet Beacon is done, so you can go Anion Pulse Crystal, as you guys see there on the production tab briefly. It's just really worthy to note that during all of this, Paralyze has still been able to mostly maintain a supply lead over Life. Just a good indicator of where the game's at. Usually that's not a good sign for the Zerg player. Still no 4th for Paralyze either. It looks like he almost wants Life to just like crash over here and like water on rock. As sometimes Life loses games like this, getting too aggressive, he loses too many units, and suddenly his opponent just counterattacks
like
and kills him.
In StarCraft II is oftentimes a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Now there's actually 20. Was it 15 Phoenixes, 20 mutas, something like that?
Something like that. 14 to 19,
okay.
15 now. Now, when the Anion Pulse Crystals are done, you have to be very careful with your Corruptors too, because the Phoenixes will do moving shot and link their lasers to the Corruptors. So if you get caught with one of those, you might end up losing one of your Corruptors. So it's hard to actually micro against that. You need to make sure everything stays together. And he does not want to fight the Phoenixes with the Void Ray supporting them with those Corruptors.
Yeah, he's got to be really careful here. Okay, an engagement's occurred, and he's actually flying through.
Weird.
Whoa, way too much damage to Protoss taking there.
But see how he got links there on the edge on one of those Corruptors. If he can actually get on that, maybe he can pick them off one at a time.
More Zealots coming up here to go ahead and hit this 5th base, and it looks like the Warp Prism's actually going to go up into the main now and try to harass there. Not much here to defend.
There were 27 Corruptors on the map, so this is a lot of dead units if he can actually somehow eliminate the Mulus, but I don't know if he's going to be able to do that. He's also using Corruption very well here on top of those Phoenixes, eliminating them one by one here so the Mulus can do the rest of the work. He needs to be able to deal with these Zealots on the other hand, but mass air dominance right now goes to Life. Good control here on the Phoenixes, but now he's starting to actually get in there and fight against these Void Rays. Void Rays are gone, killed by the Mulus. Life engaging this much better than Paralyze, just isolating the units he knows he has the counter to.
The Zealots are doing a lot of damage to over here.
True, and Life actually did cost him one of the games we saw earlier on Habitation Station, I believe it was, where the DTs and the Zealot harass just did too much and didn't respond.
It was immaculate. And we're going to have more Zealot harass coming up here, too. This is how you can punish a Zerg who's really harassing you hard, is that all his mutas and Corruptors are going to be in your base. There's not a lot to defend here. He doesn't have some easy ground army that's just popping out.
Yeah, I mean, you can't defend with Corruptors. Mulus, if you send them home, then you lose your dominance with those Mulus. Now actually going to lose this base, possibly, while he's defending the Zealots in the main, which have gotten so many kills. Life is down now to 63 drones. He should save this base, but it still gets low. And that means Zealot harassment later could actually finish it off.
No problem. More Phoenixes have been grouping up now. With the Zealots continue to be warped in over here. Might even be going for the pool now.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a bad choice. Trying to pick off some of these Corruptors here, but he can't fight them straight up like that. He does not want to get sandwiched.
I suppose if he gets that high, if he can take out the Spire Tech, that would reset the Zerg, but that's a pretty tall order.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's really starting to do some heavy damage in there. This 2-prong harassment is paying off for him.
I wouldn't mind seeing the Protoss try to tech up with some DTs in this moment.
Yeah, I mean, it worked really well last time.
Considering how desperate the Zerg is, and Zerg's actually low on gas. It's not that phase of the game where he saved up a bunch of scats for the Spire units.
Now, this Nexus to the bottom right is really important, and what's most important about it is how late it is, because that's why there's no real bank here. He spent all of his bank on these Zealots. He needs that 4th base to transfer his probes over and start getting that mineral income back up again, because without that, these Zealot harassments that he keeps doing are, it's a big sink into his minerals, so it's hard to produce other units. And here come that probe transfer. Here comes.
Here come that probe transfer.
Here come that probe transfer over the Nexus.
Okay, now you know what? He can actually trap these Phoenixes. If he gets it just right here, Phoenixes can't go south forever.
It's very hard to engage with Corruptors against Phoenixes with Anion Pulse Crystals. See how they link like that? With the second the Corruptors turn away, they're just eating so many shots.
Here we go. He's going to run up here now, get some more damage done to these drones.
And this is really important. Life cannot afford to lose too many more drones right now.
Protoss is doing a really good job of securing this 4th base in here in the bottom right.
All right, this is engagement down near the bottom right. It's so important right now. Can he save the Nexus? He needs to. Good zoning here by the Corruptors. And Life looks like he's going to maybe kill this base. Nexus Cannon going strong here. And there go the Corruptors. Doesn't kill those Colossi. The Stalkers doing so much damage on the ground. It's almost like Life really stuck around a bit too long there, but he bounces back like a ping pong ball over here to the right and gets that Nexus, completely kills it this time.
We got Corruptors now trying to just chase down the Colossi. Anything they can take out, Vito's down to the Colossi as well. Just Stalkers, a few sentries, and the Phoenix is out.
And he's actually starting to fight against these Stalkers a little bit here, but he's taking a lot of damage on his Corruptors. This base is down. Life is down to 54 drones, and he may lose every single one of his Mulas. He's made secretly, very quietly over here, switch back into Hydras, though, after he eliminated those Colossi.
But his hand's been tipped now as he saw the rest of those Hydras moving around. Protoss can quickly come up with a response.
He only needs 1 or 2 Colossi to help deal with this. With this many Phoenixes to also assist with the lifting on those Hydras, he could actually almost fight it straight up. And Life's economy is in a very bad spot. He doesn't have enough Hydras, even with 27 of them, to cover all of his bases against the Phoenix harassment. This is a very tense game, very close, but I'm starting to really feel like Paralyze has got quite an edge because he knows exactly what he's up against now, and he continues to harass here, killing these drones. It's just
once he gets the momentum, I mean, he could get so many drones with this, but this is a lot of Hydras, and I don't believe there's enough Colossi.
Only one.
Only one. This could be a huge problem. This is going to melt those Phoenixes if they fly over it at all.
But if he just engages directly into the cannons with Phoenixes to lift and also that Colossus, I think this is definitely something that Paralyze can still hold. Let's find out how he decides to handle this.
He's going to loop around now.
Don't forget, the Protoss is really on only one mining base because he lost, he's out of minerals and his main is natural, and he lost the 4th to the right side of the map. So his income is terrible right now, despite the fact that he has a better worker count. So Hive coming up here, Life making 3 investors. That is a great choice here. If he can lock down those Phoenixes and kill them even just one time, then maybe he can make a better switch later back into Mutalis, or even make his Hydralisk more worthwhile.
Phoenixes are out now. They could get stuck up here, though.
This is a great game so far. Picks off a few more of these Overlords, and Life is actually losing so many. Oh my God! They don't have Pathogen Glands, so like he doesn't actually have the ability to block those.
That could have been it right there. But of course, if he doesn't have Pathogen Glands, what are you going to do? The Phoenix is now coming over here, hitting all these workers. Meanwhile, the Nexus to the bottom right is canceled.
That really hurts.
This is an all-out brawl here.
This is such a great game, and he's even trying to trap these Phoenixes here with the Hydras. And it looks like he may pick one more off.
Templar Archives now coming up.
Yeah, he's
Storm
actually
would
decided
certainly help
Storm
right now.
is going to be a catch-all here, because not only is it good against the Hydra, so a possible Mutalis switch later, those Life is banking up that gas again. I think he's hoping those Infestors are really going to come through for him, wipe out the Phoenixes with his Hydra support, and then go back into Mutalis. Actually goes for Vipers instead. Not a bad choice for the Abducts on the Colossi. He knows the Colossus count is low.
Well,
this game is hype right now.
This game is crazy. Life does have that 4th base. It was the 5th. The upper left base is not taken just yet, but I don't know if there's going to be much motivation here for Life to take that right away. We'll have to see.
All right, picking off a few more drones here again. With all these drones lost and the base is starting to line up for Life too. Both these players are on such a small economy right now. Losing so many drones here.
Workers he's going to lose, yeah.
The Infestor's just a bit too slow to catch up. Would almost rather see him have a trap.
Infestors or something. I'm just waiting, hiding with him.
Now this base, the Nexus is being remade. Let's see the production tab so you can see exactly the time on that. Okay, so it's almost done. Storm itself is also getting pretty close. He's got 4 Colossi now. I think Paralyze is in a better position when it comes to his composition right now.
Well, the push could be very deadly here. This is 4 Colossi, really heavy ground army here.
Storm isn't ready.
He does have some Vipers, 2 of them right now. But
I think he's going to kill the base, but he needs to be careful with how he gets out of there, because if Paralyze catches him at a weird angle or something while he's fighting.
Okay.
Feedbacks here are so important. He's got those Phoenixes.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Wolf. He needs to have like the best feedbacks of his life. And it's going to come down here now. Angle pretty good here for the Protoss.
Yeah, and here we go. He's actually starting to zone out those high Templar.
Oh,
great feedbacks there. And now the Colossi plus the Storms on top of these Hydras is going to crush this army. Can now start to lift, utilizing that Graviton beam. Every single Infestor is now eliminated, and so is Life here. That is going to be game, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep, GG. There it is. Unbelievable. Paralyze pulls through. Big upsets today, guys. Life's out, Rain's out. Our two underdogs
come through. Solar and Paralyze making a big name for themselves today, going all the way to the round of 8. looking solid.
Yeah.
And Paralyze beat Life twice.
Damn, Life can't be happy with that.
Because you know what? The first series to me felt like it was a fluke. You know, Life wasn't playing well.
Yeah. And, I mean, every player is going to have one of those games. StarCraft is just too demanding.
But the second series showed that Paralyze, when Life is playing, you know, at least a lot better, is still able to take him out here.
And I think Paralyze also, what was really nice about it was he identified what was going on with Life's playstyle. He just played safe. He just defended, and eventually Life ran out of options. So our two winners today, Solar and Paralyze. Keep your eyes peeled for these two guys in the round of 8, guys.
Yeah. Pretty hard to believe that's how things ended here, but
pretty wild, huh?
But it makes for an interesting story, that's for sure.
All right, guys, this is what the round of 8 looks like. Classic up against Paralyze now for day number 1. We don't know who Maro's up against. We have Sue up against Solar, so we have a PvP and a ZVZ. Next, after Friday, we're going to find out who goes up against Maro and who goes up against True.
Right, so we're going to have a Protoss and a Zerg in the round of 4, no matter what.
Yeah.
So that's going to be another PvZ we see there. And yeah, we'll find out on Friday who the last 2 players to the round of 8 are going to be.
We're not sure if Artosis is still going to be sick on those days. By the way, definitely give a little tweet to Artosis, tell him you hope he feels better. He was really under the weather when he talked to us this morning. So it'll either be me or Artosis or Wolf and I. And it's going to be Sulky against Shine and then Zest against Innovation. Can one more Terran go on to the round of 8, or is Maru going to be the sole representative of the Terran race?
That's a killer group, man. That's my favorite group out of all of the round of 16.
We'll talk about 4 very different play styles.
Yeah, insanely. 2 completely different Zergs. Zest, the Kingslayer, very different Protoss, and everybody else seems to be a step above.
Yeah.
And then you've got Innovation, who's seems to be making a bit of a comeback here in Korea.
Yeah. Really great games. Great cast. Wolf, thanks for coming in today.
Anytime.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us here today. The games were a lot of fun. Don't miss out on Friday. We'll see you next time. We love you. Good night.